We are launching. Woo! There it is. All right, now we're live. Yes. Welcome. Give people a minute. Welcome to tonight's new moon in Leo in true sidereal astrology. If you don't know me, my name is Carrie Ann. I go by the Quirky Cosmo. I am an AstroKey synthesizer. I work with human design, gene keys, and esoteric astrology, and I use true sidereal astrology. Sorry, I was looking at turning on some music to guide us. This is the beginning. The song coming through. This is the beginning. So if you're new, welcome. And if you're not new, hello, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back. And if you're watching and you want to engage in the chats, just say, hey, hello, put your name below so I know who I'm talking to, where you're from. I'm putting it in there. All right, I'm all the way out in Florida at the moment. This is where it's at. I did a card pull earlier today for myself. I'm going to put those cards to the side. But I was still guided to use this deck, which is the Sacred Rebel Oracle deck by Alana Fairchild. It's the screen. I don't know. Anyways, Sacred Rebel deck. And This is the Beginning is the song that started us off tonight. And let's see. So the sun is in Gene Key 7 and the moon is in Gene Key 7. All right. The reluctant leader. This is the gate of the role of the self. What is your role? What is your identity? Right? And bringing that to the surface. What have you guys been experiencing today, this week? What themes have been showing up for you? Oh my goddess. I'm like trying to find all my paperwork. There it is. What themes have been coming up for you specifically? Collectively, what I've noticed, and within myself, is the death of the reluctant self, the death of the identity. That's what I've noticed, is the death, the total and complete, absolute death of your identity, of your individuated self, and all of the limiting beliefs that tend to keep us hooked into that limiting structure. Also, Uranus went retrograde yesterday, and so we have Uranus in retrograde. We've already had Pluto in retrograde in Capricorn. It's been there the whole time. And then today we have the new moon in Leo, true Leo, okay? And Gene Key 7. And this is the shadow of division, and the gift of guidance and the city of virtue. This activation is bringing us into it's guiding us. This new moon is guiding us into our virtuous self, into our God self. So Leo is ruled by the sun, and it is esoterically and exoterically. So there is a lot of self-illumination, like your individuated self, the identity self, what is called the ego self in the modern New Age community. Although it's not your ego is your soul. So you need an ego. What you don't need is your identity. And the identity is that aspect of you that wants to hold on. The identity, let me get this. The identity is what was created. It's what you created and what society created for you. Okay. You are not your identity. You are not your personality. You're not even your persona, right? You are the soul. And what the transit is, what this new moon is doing when all of this shit that's coming up for a lot of people, specifically with the Uranus retrograde, and Uranus is retrograde and gate 27, Jinki 27. Let me there. I'll click on it. Woohoo! I guess I really don't. Well, I like to have the conscious and unconscious up. Okay. If that confuses you, let me get rid of it so it doesn't confuse too many people. I enjoy having both up because it brings perspective, especially since the unconscious sun was in Jinki 2 and the unconscious earth was in Jinki 1. So it's like, this is the fuck that I'm putting it back up. You guys can deal with it. This is the beginning. Okay. Everything gets imprinted in spirit first, 88 days prior to the actualization, or what we refer to as the manifestation. But to manifest means to see, to actualize means to have. So yeah, we don't want to manifest necessarily, although it deals with imagination, but we want to actualize. So spirit is having us actualize our godhood, our creator self. Okay. And anything that is blocking you from your godhood, right? So whatever is creating division between you and the Godhead, and that is the identity. And collectively, the identity is going to be being smashed with this Uranus retrograde. Okay, so Uranus is going retrograde in Jinki 27, which is the shadow of selfishness. And the ego, or the personal identity, is very, very selfish. It's very selfish, it's greedy, it's needy, and it wants to feel safe at all times, and it's reactive. Okay, so the identity is your subset of subconscious belief systems that have been created or curated by society, your parents, and everybody projecting all of their ish onto you. Right? Okay, and so all of the belief systems, subconscious belief systems that limit you or that create these unrealistic expectations on you, that create anger, that create agitation, that create dissonance in your body, that create imbalance, that, hold you away from or separate from taking full ownership and authority of your life. Those are going to be coming to the surface over the next 5 months. Now, this new moon is an initiation into your virtuous self, to your true self, your royal self. My dog squeak, 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 squeak. Into your royal self, into your heart. And the beauty of this, with the Uranus retrograde, this is the first new moon since Uranus went retrograde, just went retrograde yesterday. So this energy here with Uranus, Uranus is it holds the 7th ray, which is bringing spirit into matter. Uranus is the planet of geometry or geomancies, geometric form. So again, it is bringing spirit into the physical, into matter, into form. Okay. And Uranus is assisting us in bringing our soul. So the sun and the moon here and this new moon are opening our hearts to that virtuous, loving, kind, and compassionate self that we are. Now, 7's programming partner is Jinki 13, where you see the earth sign at over here. And 13 is the shadow of discord, the gift of discernment, and the city of empathy. So the themes over this week and the following few weeks that are going to be like the undercurrents, okay? So the moon obviously is going to progress, and the sun's going to progress, and the planets are going to progress forward. But a new moon is the beginning. So it's an onset of a cycle. Okay, so we're looking at like until we get the full moon in Aquarius. Okay, so when we have in true sidereal astrology, so when we have the full moon in Aquarius, then that's when we'll have a consideration that this is a complete cycle. Okay, it's gone from new to full and it's opposite. Okay, and so we're looking at like 6 months, right? 6 months from now, whenever we have like February timeframe. So this is going to be an undercurrent. Now, this is constant cycles. Life is full of constant cycles. Where you're wanting to look at this one is, where is it playing in your chart? Okay, so where is this new moon, new beginning unfolding within your personal natal chart, regardless if you have this gene key or not, right? So this is about coming into authority, self-authority, taking ownership of your reality and cutting out all of the BS that is holding you back. All right. From whether it's a relationship, a deeper relationship, or starting a business, or moving forward with, opportunities, with being the creator of your reality, truly. Okay. And the 13 is empathy. And so empathy is what the future human is. The angelic human is an empath. There is no separation. So that's the city of the 13th, the empathy is there is no separation. I am you, you are me. I feel what you're feeling. Like it's not sympathy. It's not empathizing with somebody like, oh, I understand what you're going through. That's sympathy. Empathy is I am you, you are me, your pain is my pain, to the point where if you came into contact with somebody and they're in pain, you start feeling it. So it is a super highly sensitive being, and that can be detrimental if you don't understand how to create energetic bounds, okay, energetic barriers, if you will, or separation between you and the other. All right. And that takes time and understanding and going, oh, was I feeling this before? No. Then it came in and now I'm feeling it. Okay, this isn't mine. And so I can send this back, but now I can recognize where that energetic stream came from. And if I decide to, I can go over to that person and I can offer them a hug, or I can offer them guidance, or, I could just sit with them and send them love and, invite them to be in my auric field, which, has a regulated nervous system, and that'll help regulate their nervous system if they're in anxiety or if they're in worry or, whatever it is. Like when you start to understand where the streams of energy are coming in from in your field, that's whenever you become an attuned empath, a powerful empath, and then you can start directing the currents all around you. And that deals more with mental telepathy and emotional telepathy, which again deals with the future human. The future human is aware of all streams of consciousness, which consciousness is everything. So all streams and forms of energy that are coming in. I want to see if there's anybody in the live. Okay, there are people here, but nobody's writing anything. Okay, so just watching, just observing. Well, welcome. Bing, bing. All right. So the 7, I want to dive in and talk about the 7. I usually do this in my Patreon, but I'm being guided to do it right now. So I'm going to do it right now. We're opening to the 7th city of virtue, repairing the world. The 7th city is an energetic blueprint hidden inside each human being. Despite many interpretations of the word virtue, true virtue has nothing to do with our concept of morals or behavior. Anyone can behave in a pseudo-virtuous fashion, yet have none of the power of this city. We saw throughout the 7th gift how deeply this gene key is connected to the issue of leadership. In every pack of animals, there is an alpha, one animal that others automatically follow. Among human beings, this too is the case. Leadership is determined by genetics, but quality of leadership is determined by the frequency passing through those genetics. At the gift level, we saw how the authoritarian style of leadership gave way to a more democratic style of facilitator. I like that too. I'm a facilitator, not a leader. I'm a facilitator. It sounds kinder, you know. Here in the seventh city, we find visionary leaders, but far more importantly, we find virtuous leaders. Ooh, oh my God. And the last full moon. That was it was the full moon in Leo. It was on the cusp of Cancer and Leo. And I was talking about, I posted it on my Instagram too. I was talking about how this was birthing the new world leaders. And here it is. And the new moon is right here in virtuous leadership. I love it. True leadership is analogous with virtue. It goes hand in hand, okay? However, the world has seen very few true leaders. The seventh city waits for specific times in history when the frequency of the mass consciousness is elevated enough for it to be recognized. If the conditions are not right, then these people pass unrecognized at a collective level of society, even though they may have great influence on a local level. Even though the language, okay, hold on. Indeed, I'm skipping through. Virtue is its own reward. Therein lies the other great secret of virtue. It lies beyond the need for recognition and beyond the need to be of service. Virtue is simply the unimpeded expression of nature through men or women living at their zenith. Oh, I love that. Virtue is simply the unimpeded expression of nature through men and women living at their zenith. Ooh. Virtue has been deeply misunderstood, a misunderstood city over the centuries. Those beings in which this city has manifested has indeed led exemplary lives. The seventh city contains the seed of the future man and woman, an archetype of perfected behavior that few normal people can live up to. The confusion has come about because people at lower levels of consciousness try to emulate the behavior of those in whom the citic state is flowering. This creates deep tension because virtue is a final flowering rather than a path in and of itself, right? The city of virtue is a guiding purity that pulls humanity into the future. It constantly bubbles beneath the surface of humanity. Every truly virtuous deed done by human beings represents an upsurge in the consciousness of the totality. This city is, in fact, our insurance policy that we will never destroy ourselves. Everywhere, every day, people commit small and often unseen acts of virtue, and the power of these acts is incalculable. They actually offset the powers of chaos. And that's funny because the earth is in Gene Key 1, which is this, or no, 3, never mind. I'm kidding. I retract. In the great Druish book of mysticism, the Zohar, there is a powerful analogy to the journey of this seventh Gene Key. It encapsulates in the Kabbalist concept known as, I may not say this correctly whatsoever, Tikkun Olam, made the world. He created a series of vessels to hold the divine light. But as the light flowed down into these vessels, they shattered and fell towards the realm of matter. Thus, the world in which we live is made up of countless shards of the original vessels in which the divine light is trapped. The Kabbalists go on to say that every virtuous act committed by a human being helps to repair one of the broken shards. We can see from this beautiful metaphor how the seventh shadow of division represents the force that shatters the vessels and pulls the world apart. whereas the gift of guidance begins the process of reuniting the shards. The final result of reassembling all the shards is represented by the seventh city. When you see the completed picture deep within your being, the one in whom the city manifests becomes the Adam Kadmon, the perfected vehicle of divine realization. I have so many things to say, but I want to finish this out. At this level of consciousness, virtue becomes the intent of the universe expressed through a human being. At the root of all acts performed by such a being lies the pure force of virtue, and this virtue has a remarkable effect of repairing the world. The seventh city allows a human being to see the certainty of the perfected future of mankind and allows him or her to actually live within it. In this way, such people are truly ahead of their time, even though for them time has ceased, because they have remembered the future deep within their being. There is an interesting there's an interesting way played between the seventh city and its programming partner, the 13th city of empathy. I don't know what the fuck that word is. This is best understood by the ancient symbol of the Ouroboros, the serpent eating its own tail. Whereas the seventh city pulls us into the future, the 13th city pushes us from the past. These two great cities flower simultaneously in a human being, and they concern the collective destiny of mankind. With the 13th city representing the seed of the beginning of time, and the seventh representing the flowering at the end of time. No fucking way. Man, if you are on my Patreon and you are watching this right now, or you watch this in the reruns or whatever, replay, bro, you already know. You should be jumping up and down in your chair right now. You should be jumping up and down right now. Bro, what? I told you, like last week, I fucking said it. I was like, I can't talk anymore. There's nothing else I can say. I gotta wait till next week. This is why. Oh my God. I know people that don't know that are just like, what the fuck is she talking about? I'm a channel. I'm a channel for spirit to speak through. And all of this has added up like no other, like no, like if you're in the Patreon, you fucking know. Like you fucking know, but if you're not in the Patreon, I mean, you're not gonna know. You're not gonna, it's an inside fucking thing. But man, I wish that I was like live with all of the homies right now, because shit, we'd be popping in the comment, just talking. Oh my God, we'd have to pause and be like, no. Anyways, the alpha and the omega, the beginning and the end, the flowering, anyways, the seed. And then my girlfriend, just not girlfriend that I, lesbian girlfriend, everything like that. I'm hetero. I have a friend that's a girl. She gave me some housewarming gifts. I had my first friend come and visit. I don't even know if you're gonna be able to see this because of the background thing, but look at this. So she comes over and homie brings me this. Can you see it? No. Let me stop screen sharing. Okay, homie brings me this. Okay, I know it's a blur because the camera does this. But anyways, this is the Garden of Eden. So she painted it. This is one of her, she has this like painting. This is one of, what is it called when they, anyways, so she brought me this. The Garden of Eden, right? Isn't this stunning? And all the rivers, all the 4 rivers, so beautiful. And it's the tree of life. And then I go to her house a couple days later to return some stuff that she left at my house and hang out and kick it, anchor in some massive freaking codes. And I'm like, dude, I really love this painting. And she's like, I got it. You want that? I'm like, oh, what do I owe you for that? She's like, oh, nothing. We exchange in other ways. But she's like, this is the seed This one is the seed. So it's the beginning and the end. Like, what? All of this? Like, oh my God. Like it's all blah 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 in me right now. I've got it all going bloop, bloop, in my head right now. Yes, it's amazing. We already know. Love the vibe. Love it. Fantastic. I'm giving you guys hearts. Good, we got people in here. All right. So the beginning and the end and the final flowering. So these two great cities flower simultaneously in a human being, and they concern the collective destiny of mankind, with the 13th city representing the seed and the beginning of time, and the 7th representing the flowering at the end of time. These two cities have a mass of esoteric mythology connected to them. People in whom these states flower act as energetic guides for the entire human race. They have been called many names by many cultures: the keepers of the world, and then his word, the Illuminati, the shining ones, or the chosen ones. But they have also been deeply misunderstood by many cultures. Oh, so this is and then he goes on. Obviously, this is Gene Key 7, the city, and there's still a couple more paragraphs to read here. And he talks about the codon ring of union, and how this chemical family contains the collective codes for purifying human relationships across the planet. And the combined dynamic of virtue with forgiveness, devotion, and transparency sets the stage for a completely new phenomenon to be seeded in humanity: collective leadership. Collective leadership is the stage beyond individual leadership, in which leadership becomes an empathically shared energy field between individuals, thus bringing an end to hierarchy. The 7th city waits for a specific moment in time to awaken in the collective. In the book of Revelations, oh my God, I've been talking about all this shit all week. I love it. I love it. All right. So in the book of Revelation, the 7th city is represented symbolically by the opening of the 7th seal, which the 7th seal is grace, which precedes the return of Christ consciousness. There are even deeper secrets here concerning the mythology surrounding the number 7. However, at this deeper level, we can perhaps see why the original Chinese call this the army. The army refers to a collective group of beings. In the book of Revelations, they are known as the 144,000. And you can learn more about them by reading Gene Key 44. Essentially, this group of beings represents the genetic equipment through which higher consciousness will first touch down at a collective level on our planet. The term equipment is used deliberately here in order to dispel any sense of glamour concerning these so-called chosen ones. These beings are a collective fractal of leaders in which the cities will spontaneously flower over a cycle of many generations. They will be found at all levels of society. The core essence of each of these beings or leaders is virtue. The 7th city and the language that unites them is empathy, the 13th city. Oh, and you know what? Kalaki, which is the last avatar that is to incarnate at the end of the age of Kali Yuga, is said that he will come and he will be seen by all, and then like on TV basically, and he will speak the language that everybody would understand, which would be empathy. I love that. And that goes along with like Gene Key 61, which is like no language, the language of light. Or oh, was it 62? I opened right to 62. Yeah, it is 62. That's why, bro. It's 60. I love it. 62 is the shadow of intellect, the gift of precision, and the city of impeccability. And it's the language of light. is the part of the codon ring of no return. Bro, this is happening, like in the collective. This is happening. The new world leaders are being activated and flowering. And any of the stuff that's coming up right now with let me go back to screen share. Or I don't have to, I could just speak it here. But anything that is blocking you from being in your authority, into your godhood, and you're remaining in the victim mindset. And honestly, you can't force yourself to awaken, no matter how much your identity wants to. It's a process, and there isn't a yoga that you can do. There isn't a mindset practice that you could have. It's if you're meant to, you will. And until then, you know, it is about, you know, Neville Goddard talks about it. What you believe, you will receive, right? If you want it, if you want that, speak it into reality and live as if it's already happening. It's the power of prayer, right? To actualize your reality is to put it out there and then to live as if it's already happened. And so instead of trying to force yourself to be something that you're not necessarily, acting as if and all of that, coming out of character, accept who you are and where you are, but know that what you desire is seeking you. And all you have to do is align to that and live as if it's already been fulfilled. It doesn't mean that you fake who you are and what you feel and what you're experiencing and you bypass all that, because you're not going to get anywhere by bypassing. You have to accept the totality of all of the experiences that God's source is having through you and your ancestors. But at the same time, it is becoming conscious, becoming or aware, not conscious, becoming self-aware of what it is that's showing up, that is pulling you emotionally in and into the future or into the past, what is entangling you emotionally. And that tends to lead into your belief systems, into what your subconscious belief systems are, that your mind gets entangled with, or that when the devil, your lower three chakras are, you know, acting array, or they're not in balance, they pull you down. The demonic frequencies pull you down through those belief systems and that emotional entanglement. So live in your now, be present with your now, but whatever you do desire to create, just know that it does exist and that it is coming to you. You have to believe that. It is already existing in another timeline. It's about believing that. And anything else that gets in the way of it, well, that's what you have to, when it comes up for you, instead of entangling yourself with it, you acknowledge it and say, oh, well, I don't choose to believe that anymore. I don't choose to align to that story or that version of me anymore, because I'm not my identity. I'm not that. You know, we have to give ourselves permission to change. But again, that takes practice and mindfulness, right? Right. All right. So over the next few months, this is the undercurrent theme, is what is dividing you, what is fractalizing you, what is pulling you apart. And also the collective world leaders are being born and flowering. This is the beginning and the ending. And even the song that came on, this is the beginning. Oh, we have the seventh root race. Yes. I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube, because they're really strict about music copyrights and stuff like that. But this is the beginning was the song. So this is the beginning. And yeah, we're living in a time where we are transitioning into a new world, a completely new world that already exists. And it is about quantum leaping the population into that new world, which is why the new world leaders are being flowering right now. The 144,000 are awakening into that divine leadership so that we can shift humanity into a new dimension, because we are at the end of time, and the end of the human evolution as it was. And now we're entering into the age of Aquarius. We're entering into our celestial citizenship. We're moving into a time where humans will move through space-time, will move through portals and dimensions physically, because our physical body is going through the great mutation, where the genetics are going to be operating not just from the platonic solid, not from the base matter, but from the plasma, which is the gaseous noble gases that are found within the body as well. And we're assisting humanity into activating that within their body. So this is a fucking phenomenal time to be alive, y'all. And I really hope that you're ready to start living the best reality, because this stuff is about to get really, really good, really, really good. And humanity is about to see on a large scale the truly magical, mystical world that we are living within. All right, because we are truly magical, mystical beings. We are virtuous, we are loving, we are angelic by nature. All right. So yeah, these themes, look for these themes in your reality playing out. Look at where Leo is at in your chart, where you could be guiding yourself in a more virtuous way. It doesn't happen overnight. It is years, lifetimes. Many people, it's lifetimes of coming into their heart and opening their heart and healing all of the wounds, truly healing the wounds, not just bypassing it and jumping over it. Like, you do have to feel it. You do have to acknowledge in order to rearrange. So, but it can be done. Absolutely can be done. And in this lifetime, you have the ability with your mind. That's, again, with the impeccability coming up, from intellect to impeccability. We heal the collective mind, mental plane. It is the mind that keeps, the lower mind that keeps humanity in division, the belief systems, and essentially, like the Saturnian structure that we see, or the time of Satan, the lower chakras, like, it is all those lowering, limiting belief systems that keep us divided and in separation. So I'm truly interested and excited. I'm curious. I'm curious to see how this is all going to unfold. But I do feel blissful. I feel happy. I feel joyous about, like, the things that are to come. Like, I really do. And if you're interested in booking a session with me and you're like, okay, I'm really ready to dive in and, get serious, take this serious and reorganize, and reach out to me. I have sessions open. We can look at what your Uranus is going, where Uranus is at in your chart going retrograde. And if you have any planets that are connected to this. I'm also going to be running a course. I've been working on this. I'm really excited. So get ready. Keep your eyes and ears open for my launch date on my new course. And other than that, I look forward to working with you if you're wanting to work with me. And if not, join the Patreon, and I'll see you on Wednesday with all the other Patreon family. And until then, thank you for joining me on this new moon in Leo. Follow your heart. New moon transmission. Have a good